There were a lot of things that I had to learn on my own, especially as a woman of color in this industry where there aren't very many of us. Hey, welcome back to the Experience Lab. I'm Joanna, and on this channel, I share experiential tips for everyday brands. But in this week's video, I'm gonna take a trip down memory lane because if you're watching this on the day it comes out, tomorrow, April 26th, is the 1-year anniversary of Everyday Experiential, and I am so blown away that it's already been a year I've been working at this brand. So to celebrate my journey and to encourage you to continue pursuing yours, I thought I'd tell you a little bit of my story and how I became an event planner, why it's so important to me, and what I'm hoping to share with you. So before I ever knew what experience design was or what the word experiential even really meant, I got a lucky shot at a summer job doing like ad hoc admin tasks, you know, like organizing bookshelves and files and just keeping the office tidy. What I didn't know at the time was that I was working at a fabrication shop. And if you don't know what a fabrication shop is, these are the places that have skilled designers and carpenters that bring all of these experiential activations that you see out in the world to life. So I'm at this fabrication shop called Showman Fabricators, and I'm just like working in the office. And at the time, I'm 18 and I was a religious watcher of the Victoria's Secret fashion show that they put on at the end of every year. As it turns out, call it dumb luck or divine intervention, Showman Fabricators had designed at least one of the stages for the Victoria's Secret fashion show in the past. Now, there are a lot of reasons why I love the fashion show. When I was in high school, I did a little bit of like amateur modeling, and then also I loved watching the show because they showed a lot of camera footage of behind the scenes. And at that point, I was really starting to get into this world of events and experiences and just taking in anything that I could about the industry. And so the fact that they showed sort of the people running around backstage and all of the different camera angles and not just the show itself was something that always appealed to me. So one day at work, I'm at lunch and I'm kind of telling someone about it and how much I love it. And they say, hold on, I'll be right back. And they end up bringing me a random Tupperware container full of glitter. And they handed it to me and they said, this is some of the glitter that we use to construct one of the stages and decorate one of the runways. And if I had never believed in magic at that point and the power of following your dreams, that was that moment for me where I was holding something in my hands that had made its way to a show that I was watching on television and that at the time was really, really important to me. And not only that, within this office, the cubicles were all separated by glass. And there were a bunch of scuff marks on the glass, but I figured, you know, if it's a shop where there's a lot of construction or a lot of carpenters, you know, things happen. Again, as it turned out, by some stroke of dumb luck, they end up telling me that this is the same glass that was also on the runway and that the scuff marks are from the model's shoes from when they were testing out the runway prior to the show. And you know, when you start a brand or you start an endeavor that you're passionate about, a lot of people will tell you, you have to know what your why is. And this little Tupperware container of glitter has fueled my why since I was 18. It was a reason for me to continue believing that this was even a possible thing for me to do as a career. So fast forward a couple years and now I'm in my early 20s and I'm a bartender at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And I gotta say, I completely hated this job. I never liked being a bartender, but I always loved the energy of the job because, especially at the stadium, every event was an event. Within the building, in the belly of the stadium, is where the employee locker rooms are. And that's also where sort of the backstage area for the concerts and different things that happened was within the building. Naturally, I snuck backstage a couple times because, again, this is what I was passionate about. And sorry to any of my managers who may happen to watch this in the future, but I couldn't resist. I had to talk to the people who were planning this. I had to ask them what the viable career paths were, how they got where they were, and how I could get there too. And I know you can see some of these things behind me, but those are booklets that you get at concerts. And what I would do at the end of the night is take some of my tips and go to the merch stand at the concert and buy those things, because in the back of the book there are credits for the people who produced the concert and the people who produced the album, and I would go search them up on LinkedIn and like stalk them and say, hey, listen, I really want to do this as a career. Are you open to having coffee with me? So, you know, even though I hated the job, again, it was just so magical to be in the building and to be able to talk to people that I normally wouldn't have access to. And I'm incredibly grateful for that experience. And I sort of kept doing that. So if I went to see Cirque du Soleil and I happened to see like a crew person walking around, I would stop and ask them questions. Once upon a time, I even got the opportunity to shadow a stage manager backstage at a Bronx Tale on Broadway. And that, again, was just something for me that continued to reinforce the idea that this was a career path that I was not only meant to do, but that never got boring to me. Fast forward a couple more years, and now I'm actually in the industry. I've done a couple of internships at this point, and I've networked through college, and I'm gonna pop in a picture here of me at my on-site at my first event. And looking back now, I was so young and so green and had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But it was one hell of a ride. Once I really got into the groove of things and I was doing this professionally, it was amazing, but I always felt that there was something missing. And I think what was missing for me was understanding how this helped my people, understanding how this helped my community. And that's the reason I started this brand. But also because when things get extremely commercial, they lose a little bit of their magic, because what doesn't lose their magic when corporate gets their hands on it? And so with this brand, I really don't teach you just how to plan a party. I am really passionate about helping small brands curate experiences. And the reason is because an event is cute and everything, but an experience is what's really gonna grab people's attention and make them love your brand and make them want to support your business. I take online classes on color theory and interior design and lighting architecture, and I mush all of those things together, and what comes out is what I pour into Everyday Experiential. One of the most important things you can do when you're planning an experience is to stay curious. Don't ever think that you know it all. The world around you is so vast, and the truth is that inspiration can come from anywhere. And so you have to turn over every rock. You have to continuously look at things from a different angle. Stay childish, stay hungry for knowledge and hungry for that different perspective that's going to take things up just a little bit, but not only take them up, something that's going to connect with your guests that much more. And so what it comes down to, and what I bring to you and what I'm hoping to continue to bring to you, is those awe-inspiring things that help you make awe-inspiring events. And not only that, but the right tools and resources to get there that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. Because if you're a small business, you're not a corporate company that has $300,000 to spend on an event, but you want it to be just as meaningful to the people who attend. And finally, I created this brand to explain the things to other people that I wish I had someone explaining to me. You know, all of the professional experience that I have, there were a lot of things that I had to learn on my own, especially as a woman of color in this industry where there aren't very many of us. And so I say all of that to say that after 365 days of creating this brand, I don't see any signs of myself stopping or slowing down. And I really just want to help you feel like you can compete with these companies that have unlimited resources, and feel like you're well informed when you're making decisions about how to spend money to grow whatever you're passionate about. So on my website, in my blog, I typically close every blog by saying, stay present in your everyday experiences. And so for the first time in my videos, I'm going to close out the video by saying, stay curious, do things the slow way on purpose, do things the long way on purpose, and of course, stay present in your everyday experiences. Once again, I'm Joanna. This is the Experience Lab, and I will catch you in the next one.